What is up, guys? Eric here from Real Film Reviews, bringing you another movie review, this time for the new Ridley Scott film, Alien Covenant. Before we get into the review, I do want to apologize for the lateness of this review and the fact that my Baywatch and Pirates of the Caribbean review are a couple days late. I actually had my wisdom teeth removed last week. That's why I have this lovely bruise on my face, and it's why I can't really talk the regular way that I would be, is because my mouth is still a little sewn up together. But I did want to get you guys these reviews even if they're a little bit late, so my apologies, but I hope you enjoyed the videos. Alien Covenant is directed by Ridley Scott. It is the follow-up to Prometheus. It stars Katherine Waterston, Michael Fassbender, Billy Crudup, Danny McBride. It has a pretty impressive cast. Now, Prometheus came out before I was doing reviews for this channel, and I actually did enjoy the movie. It wasn't really an alien film. It felt very much like a lore, very much a prequel type of film, because not a lot of it directly seemed like it was related to Alien until you got, into more of the parts that did, and I don't want to spoil anything for anyone that hasn't seen that film. But this movie definitely felt more like an Alien movie. It went back to sort of the roots of the first Alien and then James Cameron's Aliens. It felt sort of like a combination of those two in the general tone that the film was taking. Ridley Scott did a phenomenal job directing this movie. It looked amazing. All of the sets were phenomenal throughout the whole film, and of course the prosthetics and the aliens all looked really great as well. Being as it sort of left behind what Prometheus was, this film had more of an action horror type of theme throughout the film. It definitely was trying to build suspense and have sort of those action-packed sequences throughout the film, and some of them worked really, really well. There was awesome gore in all of the action sequences, all of the special effects looked really great, and actually surprisingly, the comedic relief aspect of the film, which I think was helped a lot by the fact that they brought on someone like Danny McBride, worked really well. It didn't feel forced, it didn't feel out of place, it actually was funny, and it helped lighten the mood in some of the more dire sequences in the film. Michael Fassbender gives an absolutely amazing performance in this film. It's not surprising, he's one of the greatest actors in the world right now, and he does it again in this film, and I really don't want to spoil anything about the movie, but he's just so good throughout the whole thing, and I really loved him in this film because he really sells that android aspect of the character that he's playing so well. He doesn't feel like a person, and that's what I think is so great about his performance. He really feels like an android, even though Michael Fassbender totally is a real dude, and I think that that's a testament to how great of an actor that he is in this role. Along with him, I thought everyone else in the film actually did a really good job. There are a couple cliche characters that are sort of generic sci-fi characters, but for the most part, everyone was actually built a decent amount and sort of had their own little moment in the film. Whether it was a good or bad moment, they had their moment. It was also a really cool dynamic within the crew of the ship, being as everyone was a couple, except for Michael Fassbender, of course, because he's playing an android, but everyone else, it was them with their husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, and I thought that that was a really cool dynamic to add to these characters when they're in these really suspenseful and exciting sequences, because you're worried about the person, but you're also worried about what's going to happen to their loved one if something happens to them. Now, as I said, all of the characters sort of get their own little moment in the film. Basically, everyone that is an active cast member does. However, some of them never really get the proper time to build up as characters, so when something happens, it's harder for us to really care, and they feel more like cannon fodder sort of for the aliens. Now, this isn't all the characters, because I'd say there's like 10 to 15 characters in this film, and all of them do get their own little moments, but I think there's only really 4 or 5 that actually get built up enough to where when anything is happening, you're genuinely worried about that character, which is still better than Prometheus, where Prometheus really only had like 2 characters that anyone cared about, and everyone else was just like, if they die, they die. This one did take the time to build up some more characters, and I think Ridley Scott improved upon Prometheus, but he still had a few too many characters that were sort of like half built up that we were still supposed to care about, but really it was the entertaining sequence that we cared about and less about the people that were possibly going to die in that sequence. The 2 main issues with this film are the pacing and the script, though. The pacing of this film is really slow in the beginning. It takes a while before anything really starts to happen in terms of the aliens or really anything at all that's really exciting. So until that stuff starts, it's pretty slow moving, and it's sort of trying to build characters, but some of it feels pretty generic, which lends back to the script. The script of this film is fine. It's not particularly bad. It's not like all of the dialogue sequences felt fake, and I complimented the fact that it was able to build up a few more characters than Prometheus and did have some good comedic relief. However, the way the story works just is kind of dumb. And I think that this movie has the same issues that Prometheus had. When you watched Alien, you were like, these people are genuinely terrified and they're trying to solve this problem. When you watch Aliens, there are characters that are making bad decisions, that are in control, but not everyone there is kind of being an idiot. With this film and with Prometheus, you have these people that go onto these alien planets and just seem to think everything's gonna be all hunky-dory, and they make these really stupid decisions that when you're watching the movie you almost want to laugh at, because you're like, how could someone be this dumb? Like, how could you possibly think that's a good call? The one example I'll give from Prometheus, so I'm not spoiling anything in Covenant, is the part when the little alien snake thing comes out and the guy's like, oh, look at it, it's so cute, and then it destroys him. It just murders his whole body. And everyone is like, oh my god, surprised in the movie, but it's like, why are you messing with the weird alien snake to begin with? Trap it and study it or something. You don't just try to pet something on a weird alien planet that you don't know what it is. And this movie does the exact same thing. It's like they didn't learn anything from what people said about Prometheus when they were like, this movie, all these people are supposed to be these fancy scientists and they make all these stupid ass decisions. And then in this movie, they kind of do the exact same thing. There's people that are supposed to be smart. They're supposed to be important members of this crew, but then they still make these just absolutely asinine decisions when they're on this alien planet. I'm gonna give Alien Covenant a B-. I think that Covenant is slightly better than Prometheus in the fact that it invested more in the actual xenomorphs and the aliens themselves, rather than sort of in all of the lore and backstory. It's not taking anything away from Prometheus. I still really enjoyed that movie, but for different reasons, and I think if you are a fan of the Alien franchise, there's a better chance that you will like this movie compared to Prometheus. Well guys, as always, I'm Eric. If you enjoyed this review, please do like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of Alien Covenant, share everything we do here on Real Film Reviews, and I hope to see you guys later.